Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Today, I'm excited about what I'm about to show you, especially some of you younger people out there. Every once in a while, I will find a lot of news, and I have to cover a lot of different things having to do with Ripple and cryptocurrencies. But every once in a while, I'll just find one article or one piece of information that just sparks my imagination and excites me. And today, I think I can show you a parallel to where we are that this really kind of excited me, and I'm glad to be able to go over this, especially with you young people, the ones of you that were not around during the internet boom, because this is kind of exciting, and you may not even know this. I saw this article this morning, and I thought when I read it, I was like, oh, okay, well, Ripple senior VP is talking about something, so I want to see what he said. But when I actually looked at the article, I wasn't as fascinated. It was about Ethan Beard and a quote he had said, but that didn't mean much to me at all. But I'll tell you anyway. The title kind of says it all. Is that he was saying at one of these crypto conferences that the market is slowed because it's building from the infrastructure level, which is true. But that's not what caught my attention in this article. There were a couple of people that had some quotes that I wanted to go over with you just to put things in perspective. Whenever I see the investment community getting a little freaked out, like they're wanting price going up and all this kind of talk, that's when I always love to take a step back and hopefully enlighten people with some of my experience and things I've been through in my life, so that you can look at a bigger picture of what is coming. So what this conference was, I wanted to tell you that first. The recently concluded pre-money San Francisco 2018 witnessed venture capitalists, investors, and officials from various cryptocurrency companies give their insights on the workings of the blockchain industry and the future of the cryptocurrency market. What caught my attention was first a quote from someone. It was a speaker from 500, which is an investment company based out of Hong Kong. The reason these two quotes I'm about to read to you caught my attention is that it was like a flashback to the past, where I remember what they were talking about, and they give you a parallel of where we are in this market. And it's so important that you all appreciate just how early to the party you are. And I always bring this up whenever I have an opportunity, because it's so important. It'll relax you and make you understand just how this is one of those once in a lifetime chances where you happen to be there. And so many people never experience that in their lives, and I'm glad that you get to. And so relax and listen to what I'm about to tell you. So this is a speaker from 500, this investment company in Hong Kong. Quote, "The blockchain industry right now is like the old Motorola phone. When it was first released, remember, it looked like a brick, but that point was the inception of global technological phenomenon. In the same way, we just need to be patient with the blockchain industry before it becomes huge." And I want to show those of you, especially you young people, when I just to put this in perspective, the first phone I ever had was about my last year in college, which was around 1996. Those of you that, you live on your phones now. My kids live on these phones and iPads and everything, but a lot of you take that for granted. But let me show you this, what you're looking at right here. This is what one of the first Motorola phones looked like. It was literally a big, huge box. But just think about, this is something you can really put things in perspective with. Look at that phone, and I want you to think about your XRP investment while you look at that phone and think, wow, I'm this early. And I'm going to give you another example that's even closer to home, maybe, of just how early you are. The next quote that was in this article was by Jordan Clifford. He's the co-founder of XRP. And he says, the long-term outlook of the industry is still bullish, but as of now, the entire crypto sphere is still in the Netscape phase. Okay? And I'm going to show you two things that put that in perspective so that you can understand exactly where you are as an XRP holder. This is the Netscape browser. Believe it or not, we actually used to surf the web on this, and it was on a dial-up connection. You would literally dial into the internet, and you would hear it would go, and you would hear all these sounds and staticky sounds while it connected. And half the time you'd be in the middle of looking at information and you'd get knocked off your dial-up connection. But this is what an internet browser looked like before you had Google and all of these things. This was around 1995. You'll see their copyright, 94 to 96. Around 95, this is what we were surfing the web on, and it was on a dial-up connection. And this guy at XRP is telling you that you're holding your XRP and you're surfing the web on a Netscape Navigator browser. That's how early you are. Back when this all happened, back when the internet boom happened, you didn't have digital assets. If you wanted to get rich, and this is a huge part of the reason that I spotted digital assets for the opportunity that they are. If you wanted to get rich, and I tried, and I actually was with an internet startup back during that time. It was a little later than 95. It was right as it was all collapsing. But if you wanted to get rich back then, what you did is you either founded an internet company, got someone to give you all kinds of venture capital money and tried to get it public take that company public as fast as possible, or you went and worked for an internet company and you prayed that you could get some stock options and then the company would go public. When I saw digital assets, I saw an opportunity for an average person to get in at the ground level even before all of this happens, before the company even goes public, and have a chance to become mega wealthy even before all of that happened. Well, I want to finish this video by reading to you a quote. Now, many of you know, Mark Andreessen, he now runs, and he's one of the guys that runs Andreessen Horowitz, which is now a venture capital firm. Well, Mark Andreessen was one of the founders of Netscape. So he's one of the guys that got rich when Netscape came out and went public. That's how he got rich. Now he's an angel, and now he's a venture capitalist. But this is a quote from Mark Andreessen, just to further put in perspective where you are as an XRP investor. And this quote from Mark Andreessen is probably from a few years back, because now there's more internet users than I think he says in this quote. But he says, and here's his quote: "Over 2 billion people now use the broadband internet, up from perhaps 50 million a decade ago when I was at Netscape, the company I co-founded." Now, I looked up the figure, and the figure of people on the internet now is more like, as of 2015, it was more like 3.2 billion people. But I want you to imagine, as an XRP holder, that you hold your XRP. Imagine what it was like for that guy. He was founding a company when there was 50 million people total on the internet. And what I'm telling you, and I can't say this enough, you're literally invested in XRP, and you're at that same kind of stage. There are literally trillions of dollars that are going to come into this space. It's hard for you to imagine it because you're too caught up in staring at the day-to-day prices of XRP. But you must stand back and think of yourself. You are literally the equivalent of one of the early stock owners in Netscape in 1995, and some of you don't even know it. This video is so that is for the entire purpose to let it finally sink in with some of you, especially those of you that have gone negative. You need to know it, because that's where we are. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Subscribe, hit the like button, and please tell your friends and family to listen to the Digital Asset Investor. I will be here all the way to Liechtenstein. Thanks for listening.